Hey! You've probably heard about the tremendous box office success of Avengers Endgame. And yes! It finally happened. It beat the hell out of Avatar. But I bet you have no idea what the most unexpectedly expensive scene was throughout the entirety of MCU Phase 4. How much 1 minute of Endgame cost, and how McDonald's is connected to that success? Well, now it's time to find out. This is Peter, and you're watching OSSA. Buckle up. The budget for each Avengers movie seems to be higher than the last. The first Avengers movie cost $200 million. Age of Ultron was $250 million. And Infinity War, $321 million. So it sounds like Endgame could be the most expensive Marvel movie so far, right? But how about the most expensive movie ever made in world history? Well, let's not rush things though. First, let's take a closer look at the series. Computer-Generated Imagery. When it comes to Marvel movie budgets, one of the first things that comes to mind is, of course, the CGI. That's right, video effects cost a hell of a lot of money. Check this out. Infinity War consists of 2,600 shots, and only 80 of them weren't edited by VFX supervisors. Can you imagine Marvel movies without all the VFX at all? What a mess that would be, huh? Star-Lord fighting ghosts, Thor catching an invisible hammer, Iron Man hiding from imaginary explosions. Well, that would be a super boring green screen fiction movie. You might even have to use your imagination. Boring. When one mentions CGI, most people start to imagine crazy battle scenes and monsters and massive explosions, or the creation of Giant Man instead of, well, what I'd call the slightly less obvious things. Things that were done so perfectly that they almost seem like they were made without any expensive VFX. Like, did you know that de-aging Robert Downey Jr. in Civil War was a real pain for visual effects supervisors? And that it wasn't cheap for the producers by any stretch of the imagination. Marvel did amazing aging tricks several times in their movies, with young Michael Douglas in Ant-Man, Kurt Russell in Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2, Samuel L. Jackson in Captain America, old Haley Atwell in The Winter Soldier, and of course Chris Evans in Endgame. Bet you didn't know that this effect was achieved using a combination of realistic makeup and advanced CGI. But one of the hardest shots to get was young Tony Stark in Civil War. Why? Well, because it was a long, uncut, continuous shot that lasted for more than 90 seconds. Part of what made the shot even more challenging was the length, said movie editor Jeff Ford. He comes out, and as it plays longer and longer, well, if it played like a normal scene, you would have cut. Normally, that helps us out, because if it's a shorter shot, you can split that up between more people and get the work done quicker. I personally love that idea, and I have to admit the result is pretty goddamn cool. Even Robert Downey Jr. was surprised with the de-aging effect.
I was like, my God, he was beautiful.
But let's get back to the production budget. Cast net worth. Superstar actors do cost a lot, and their salaries grew with each new Marvel movie. Let's take a look at Robert Downey Jr. This guy's a pretty good example, I must say. For the first Iron Man, he earned $500,000. Yeah, pretty small potatoes, but for what it's worth, according to Hollywood Reporter, he earned $75 million for Infinity War. You may have just been like, what? But yes, you heard it right, $75 million as a result of a super savvy deal Downey Jr. made with Marvel's big boss. According to the deal, Robert gets a percentage of movie box office gross earnings. And that's why his estimated net worth for all Marvel movies before Endgame is $300 million. We can only guess how much he got paid for Endgame. And that means we can say without a doubt that Tony Stark isn't the only genius around. If you want to know more about the salaries of the Avengers cast, go check out our video. There are many more hidden facts about your favorite actor's money, yeah. And here comes some unexpectedly large numbers. Marketing. The movie premiered in 4,662 theaters in the US during the first week, and this is something that could only have been possible with a $150 million marketing budget. But that's not the craziest thing about Marvel's promotional strategy. $200 million more was used to support the marketing company for McDonald's toys and the sale of Ziploc bags with movie prints on them. Well, that's a huge number of Happy Meal toys, and they definitely got the job done. I'd like the one with Thanos, please. In fact, you know what? Forget it. I'll take all of them. So, to sum it up, what's the real budget for Avengers Endgame? Well, the studio hasn't confirmed the exact amount yet, but it should be no less than $356 million, which means that every minute on the movie screen cost $2 million. $2 million! Just say it out loud. And that makes Endgame the world's second most expensive movie after Pirates of the Caribbean on Stranger Tides, which holds the record of $378.5 million. However, just try to add the budgets of all 22 Marvel movies together, and you'll see the real record of Marvel's mighty marketing accomplishments, $4.4 billion, which resulted in a mind-blowing box office total of more than $21 billion. That's equal to the budget of a small European country's government. You hear that, Andorra? I know. It's hard to imagine such large numbers. And if I'm being honest, thinking about those figures makes my head ache. But just for the sake of comparison, let's take a look at other movie series, like The Lord of the Rings, plus the Hobbit trilogy, which were made for $1 billion and had a box office total of $5.85 billion. Pirates of the Caribbean? Not even close. The series earned $4.5 billion with $1 billion budget in total. Even Star Wars is still not on track to beat Marvel. The series made a worldwide gross income of $9.3 billion. All of that means that the MCU is the biggest, most expensive movie series ever made in world history. And for some reason, that makes me as happy as a little kid. Probably because I am. I'm a happy kid that grew up on Marvel. Thank you for watching, and check out our other videos on OSSA.
Are you in love with superhero movies? You should check out our new channel, Awesome Movies. Movie analyses and comic references are our forte.